Alright, prepare yourself, Florida. Anyone who lives between Louisiana and Florida Keys should have an eye on this storm. Over the years, I've seen hundreds of hurricanes. I've watched hundreds of hurricanes. And when the hurricanes come around, I do everything I can to document them and to educate you guys on everything that I've learned over watching storms my entire life. Let's jump right into it. Let's check out the models. So this storm is expected to rapidly intensify. I've been watching a lot of news articles and a lot of posts from like Fox and some other mainstream media outlets where they say it is likely to turn into a Category 3, possibly a Category 4, but they're claiming that as soon as it gets close to making landfall that it will become a Category 1. I have never seen a storm on the east side of the Gulf Coast turn into a Category 4, 3 or 4, and then just turn into a 1 when it hits landfall. So this storm is absolutely huge. It's over 450 miles wide. It's absolutely blowing up right now. It still hasn't reached the most favorable conditions that it has to offer in terms of its track. The further northwest that it goes into the Caribbean, closer to the Gulf, the more favorable the conditions are going to be for this storm to blow up. So we're here on Tropical Tidbits. We're going to check out the GFS model. They're predicting it to just go straight through the Yucatan Peninsula, that Yucatan Gap, kind of hit Cuba a little bit, and make its way into the Gulf, where it will sit right outside Tampa Bay. So something that I bring up every single time we talk about storms is the fact that one side of the storm is much more dangerous than another side of the storm. So this is the Euro track on windy.com. The thing is with the hurricanes, this is a prediction which would be historical, record-breaking in every sense of the term. We've never seen a storm of this magnitude hit Tampa Bay directly. So, as you can see with the north side of the storm, the wind is pulling offshore. That will not cause for severe storm surge. Obviously, massive parts of the state are going to get heavy rains. There's predictions for 15, 20 inches of rain already. Some places will probably see 25, 30 inches of rain. But anywhere on the south end of the storm is going to get the worst storm surge, where that fetch comes down and around. Places like this are going to flood severely, and as the storm passes by Pinellas County, these places are all going to see record-setting storm surge. So it's still too early to tell. I'm actually flying home tonight. I booked my flight a day early so that I can get back on Monday instead of Tuesday. If you want to see the time that I was planning on getting home before it's this, to me that looks too close for comfort, so I'm going to be landing tomorrow at about 4 p.m., which, you know, Florida still looks nice and calm. Here we go. We're going to go to the next model run, showing a direct hit to Tampa Bay. So here's the intensity guide. It is showing most of the models predicting it become a Category 3, some hanging out around Category 2, most of which are Category 3, some pushing up to high-level Category 4. Here's some of the spaghetti models from Ian. The thing is about hurricanes and about historical data is that there's always like driving and steering currents for hurricanes. This storm is relatively uncontested. The only thing that could happen is it could get sucked up to this pressure that's in the northeastern side of the United States, which would pull it across Florida. There's never been predictions like this before in all the years that I've been watching storms. I think Tampa Bay is something like 200 years overdue for a direct hit from a major hurricane. It's not something we've ever seen before. I think one of the most important things to note about this storm is where it crosses over Cuba. As you can see here, it's poorly organized. We're going to go to the National Hurricane Center, get a good satellite view of it. Poorly organized, you know? If we, like, say, look up Hurricane Katrina. Very, very, very well organized storm. Defined eye. Everything about it is just kind of a wonder of nature. I don't want to say beautiful because it was extremely dangerous, but Ian, not very collected right now. It's kind of scattered up. You can see the storms are just popping up everywhere on the satellite. Everyone does expect this storm to clean up. As you can see right now, it is currently still in the southern parts of the Caribbean. I think that once it hits this area right here, this is where we're going to see this thing really start to look like a hurricane, start to look like a major hurricane. And then as it passes over Cuba into the Gulf of Mexico, that's when it's really going to ramp up. It's really going to get speed. The warmest water and the warmest temperature is in the Gulf, and that's where we expect the storm to go. So if the eye of the storm passes anywhere between here and here, we are going to see a major, major hurricane. We've seen the mountains of Cuba rip apart storms before. It seems like this storm is too far southwest for that to happen. So, nobody panic yet, but if you are not checking up on this storm a couple of times a day and you're not looking at the models and looking at the predictions, some of the flood maps have been unlike anything I've ever seen in my entire life for the Tampa Bay area. I'll see if I can find those. I know Mike had those posted up a couple of days ago. Rainfall maps are starting to come in. This is only for the next 3 days, so this is before the storm even, reaches its full potential of striking Florida. We're still already seeing 6 to 10 inches, 15 inches of rain from the storm. Flash flooding potential over the next 3 days, slight risk. They can't really put it at a high level risk until the storm gets closer because the National Hurricane Center is typically pretty conservative about their... Yeah, the flood map predictions have been pretty insane. Right now we have parts of Cuba under hurricane warning. Ian is expected to produce heavy rainfall, flash flooding, and possible mudslides in areas of the terrain, particularly over Jamaica and Cuba. Life-threatening storm surge and hurricane-force winds are expected in portions of western Cuba. Beginning late Monday, Ian is forecasted to be at or near major hurricane strength when it nears western Cuba. See, that's long before it reaches us. Ian is expected to be a major hurricane in the eastern Gulf of Mexico during the middle of this week, but uncertainty in the track and intensity forecast remains higher than usual. Regardless of Ian's exact track and intensity, there's a risk of dangerous storm surge. Yeah, we really just have to keep an eye on the storm. As I've said before, it's too early to tell. It's never too early to be prepared, to be informed, to start checking up on spaghettymodels.com. Go to the National Hurricane Center. Check out what zone your house is zoned for when it comes to flooding. Make sure that you're not in a high-risk flooding area. But like I said, it's still pretty easy to tell. I would say probably Wednesday morning's update. I'm going to get up at the crack of dawn, read all the models, get the National Hurricane Center's data, and then I'll do an update for you guys then. I'm landing in Florida tomorrow at 4 p.m. As soon as I get home, I'm going to film another one of these updates, upload it for you guys. If you guys want more updates on the hurricane, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to try to do daily updates here on YouTube, but I definitely will be uploading on my story as well to keep you guys informed in real time. Keep an eye on this storm. Please keep an eye on this storm. And stay safe. I hear Florida is completely out of water. The gas station across my house is out of gas, and I hear Home Depot is out of wood. So I guess all these new Floridians that have just moved here in the last few years are all freaking out. For some reason, people feel the need to get 6 months worth of supplies for a storm, and then it just kind of screws everybody up and doesn't allow other people to get supplies. So it's going to be a shit show as soon as I get home. And when that happens, I will film it. Love you guys. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you tomorrow for another hurricane update.